Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here. And yeah, the Switch is nearly 6 years old now. Nearly 6 years old. That's not bad for a console. It's pretty good, in fact. The Wii U didn't last that long, but then the Wii U was the Wii U. The Switch has been around for a majority of my career. I mean, I started doing this back in 2015, back when I thought the only way to exude enthusiasm was to talk as softly as possible. Hello there, lovely people. Alex from Nintendo Life here, with a bit of substantial news to say the least. I remember doing videos when the Switch first came out back in 2017, and back then I thought the only way to exude enthusiasm was to talk as quickly as possible. Hello there, lovely people, it's Alex from Nintendo Life here. It's been with me through a lot, you know, as I said, you know, it's been 6 years, 3 homes, and it doesn't feel old. It still feels new to me. When I was younger, consoles just seemed to last forever, you know? A year seemed to last forever. I can't believe it's been a year since we got Felix on board. That's pretty crazy. But when you're younger, you know, you get a Game Boy, and then, I don't know, I got a Game Boy Pocket in, like, 98 or something like that? Maybe 96, something around that time? Or maybe earlier, oh god! And obviously N64, GBA, GameCube, and then DS, and in my mind the DS came out like a really, really long time ago, and I'm always surprised when I find out it's this year. The hardware is absolutely starting to show its age, there's no denying that, but even then, you know, for the things that I love playing on the Switch the most, you know, things like, unsurprisingly, Nintendo games, but, you know, also older games, things like Skyrim and stuff like that, which I've played an awful lot recently. The Switch just holds up so well in the right areas, and in other areas, it absolutely doesn't, but it's still... You know, I see all this talk about, you know, oh, when's Nintendo's next console gonna come out? And I'm like, whoa, steady on there, the Switch has only just come out. It doesn't feel old. I know it's old. I know it's been out for nearly 6 years, but it doesn't feel old. It does not feel like I was still living at my parents' house when I went to a midnight launch and got my Switch at the earliest possible time. Also ignoring the fact I had already used a Switch before then quite considerably because I'm in the industry. But it's such a clear memory. I remember going there, hanging around for, frankly, far too long. Like, there weren't that many people there. It was just like, I suppose, at the upper end, maybe 20 people. And even then, that might be overestimating a bit. You know, the Switch didn't exactly explode onto the scene. You know, it got people's attention, but it wasn't exactly like, wow, everyone's got to get a Switch. It was kind of... I think people were burnt with the Wii U, and rightly so. But I waited in the queue, I got my Switch, I got Breath of the Wild, obviously, you know, I'd be mad not to, and bless you, cat. But I didn't take it home straight away. It just so happened that that evening I was staying at my partner's mum's house because she was still living with her mum. And, you know, her mum very kindly said, oh, if you want to use the TV, go ahead. And obviously, I turned all the volume down because I'm not a git. And I remember playing Breath of the Wild for like 2 or 3 hours, solid, just absolutely engrossed. I'd never done a midnight thing before. Also, I realized that makes me sound really old, and I'm like, whoa, I played a video game for 3 hours at midnight. And I mean, that is exceptional for me. But it was such a surreal experience. Going in with probably the best game on the system, let's not deny it. Breath of the Wild is so good. But I also played Fast RMX, and I was well versed with the original Fast Racing Neo. I say the original, I know it's a sequel. So I was well versed with Fast Racing Neo, and then to go to Fast RMX, the sort of newly souped up Switch version of it, it looked absolutely gorgeous. And it didn't drop a frame. Like, I was properly blown away by just how good it looked, and I was like, this is going to revolutionize things. I didn't realize that those would be exceptional graphics for the Switch, and it's made by Shinen Multimedia, and they're very good at that sort of thing. But even so, we've still had some stunners. And I was right, the Switch has taken the world by storm, not because of the graphics and the fact that you can do it all in your little handheld thing, although I do think that the Switch really kick-started the idea of portable handheld play again. I know, obviously, you know, it's been a big thing for a long time, but people always saw it as a lesser way of doing it. You know, you've got your main like console or PC experience, and that's the big screen, the best graphics, wowzers trousers, you know, big AAA games, and then handheld is more sort of smaller, compact experiences, with a few exceptions. And the Switch said, nipples to that. You can see it with the likes of the Steam Deck. You know, I went on the record quite early on and I was like, the Steam Deck looks pretty cool, but I don't think it's going to have major appeal, and I was completely wrong about that. I massively underestimated how much people wanted to play their PC games portably and how important that is. Yeah, I know you can use your phone and stuff and stream it over the internet, you know, cloud gaming and stuff, and, well, not even cloud, but, you know, streaming it from your machine. It ain't the same. It's just not the same. And if you're targeting PC users, they want the best. And I genuinely don't think the Steam Deck would even exist if it weren't for the Switch. The Switch really said, hang on, how far can we push handheld gaming and make it comparable, or at least semi-equivalent, to the older home console? Slam dunk. In many ways, I owe pretty much my entire life as it is now to this. In 2015 and 2016, this channel was nowhere near as big as it is now, you know? It was just me trundling on doing Wii U and 3DS stuff, and it was okay, but it was really, you know, there weren't many Wii U players out there because nobody bought a blinking Wii U, and the 3DS was good, but, you know, different audience, and also it was a nightmare to capture. Like, you could do it, but it was a nightmare. And I was trundling along, and then suddenly, you know, all this talk of the NX, although the NX was announced very early on in my career, and then they actually revealed it. Hey, it's the Nintendo Switch! And that was the turning point. That was the point, and the Switch is the console that has made my career what it is today. And that's not an exaggeration, and it's not like saying, oh, you know, well, I'm sure it was a factor. No, I am pretty certain if the Switch didn't exist and we just got Wii U 2 or something, as mad an idea as that is, I probably wouldn't be here. Because it's you lovely people, the people who love the Switch, who are watching this channel. And, you know, it just went from strength to strength, and strength to strength. 2017, the console launched, and, you know, I did a video about how to install a micro SD card against my initial wishes. My bosses were like, no, do it, you know, sort of, it's really simple, but people will watch it. And so I did it. We got a lot of comments saying, this is obvious, but it is now one of our most viewed videos. Never underestimate how hard it is to find a micro SD card slot when you don't know where it is. Later that year, I moved out of my parents' house, and, you know, it was goodbye to the old studio, hello new studio, and, you know, got my own little flat that I was renting with Sasha. Sasha! We lived in a flat, didn't we?
Yeah.
2019, Xeon came on board, and suddenly 1 became 2, against that song's rules. Actually, now that I think about it, 2019 was also the year that I moved in here, into a house that I bought with the proceeds of what this allowed me to make, which kind of ridiculous. The Switch isn't a console from my childhood that I grew up with or anything like that, and it's not even a console that I really pined after, you know, sort of, oh, I really want that, because I couldn't quite get it. Because I got one straight away, as early as possible, earlier in fact. It's not even the first console that I worked with professionally, that's the Wii U and the 3DS, kind of at the same time, but the Switch is something that I owe an inordinate debt to. One that I will probably never pay off. And as a result, I do genuinely believe, as simple, straightforward as it is, little hybrid console, or, you know, it's a handheld you can plug into the TV, I think this is my favorite Nintendo console of all time. How could it not be? Gave me my life. Also, Jesus Christ, is it really 6 years old? It's not that old! Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you reminisce about that subscribe button that I've been touting now for 8 years? And be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Do check it out. It's a great old website. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.